are again present here today for the pre-bid conference for civil works under invitation to bid number 2024-022. We are live via YouTube in compliance to Department Order number 06, series of 2024, which directs us to stream activities like this for accountability and transparency of procurement processes. Before we proceed, may we request the Secretariat for a roll call and include the acknowledgement of guests present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Our attendees for today's activity, pre-bid conference for civil works for 2nd District Engineering Office. We have here the back members, starting with our Vice Chairperson, Engineer Leslie T. Gudito.
Present.
Provisional members, we have Engineer Edwin L. Hapog
Present.
and Engineer Ernesto D. Telo Jr.
Present.
From the back secretariat, we have the Acting Head, Engineer Arthur Noel A. Lor.
Present.
From the back TWG, we have here the members, Engineer Aladdin M. Alagon,
Present.
Engineer Dave Hercel G. Palen,
Present.
and Engineer Maylando M. Apolinaria.
Present.
From the Planning and Design section, we have Engineer Jet S. De Los Santos.
Present.
And we would also like to acknowledge our viewers via YouTube. Good morning and welcome. That would be all, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Alea. Since with majority of BAC members present, I hereby declare a quorum and call this meeting in order. So we have the present agenda for this activity. 1. Brief presentation, explanation of the following. 1A. Basic contract data. 1B. Requirements of bidding documents. 1C. Documents to be submitted by the bidders. We have technical component of the bid and financial component of the bid. Then 1D. Criteria and procedure for eligibility check, primary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, status of ongoing projects and award. Then number 2, questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representative of procuring entity. Then we have number 3, other matters, the 3-strike policy against violation of section 69.1 point I of the IRR of RA 9184. And number 4, summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. So, any motion to adopt the present agenda?
I move to adopt the present agenda.
I second the motion.
It has been moved by Engineer Tero and seconded by Engineer Hapog. And with no objection, the motion to adopt this agenda is hereby approved. Okay, first in the order of business is the explanation of this basic contract data, including contract description, ADC, and duration. And this will be presented to us by Engineer De Los Santos from the Planning and Design section.
Good morning, everyone. Name of contract: construction of 2 units of 2-story 10 classroom school building in Monkayo, Monkayo, Davao de Oro. Contract ID number 24LI0127. Location: Davao de Oro. Scope of works: construction of 2 units, 2-story, 10 classroom school building, complete with earthworks, plain and reinforced concrete works, finishing works, painting works, electrical works, plumbing works, cistern, overhead tank and water pumping system, concrete parapet, hand washing facilities, security grills for the front jealousy windows, steel casement window, fire protection system, transformer and billing deposit, wind speed at 140 km/h. Approved budget for the contract: 75,342,277.20. Source of fund: BFFY 2024. Contract duration: 175 calendar days, including 29 unworkable days. Size range: medium A. License category B. Cost of bid documents: 50,000 pesos.
Thank you, Engineer De Los Santos, for your explanation of the projects to be procured by interested bidders. Next in the order of business is the requirements of bidding documents, which will be discussed by Engineer Lord.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good
morning also to our viewers. To participate and qualify in our procurement activity, interested bidders are encouraged to read the following documents. Number 1, instruction to bidders. Number 2, bid data sheet. Number 3, general conditions of the contract. Number 4, special conditions of the contract. Number 5, bill of quantities. Number 6, drawings and specification. Number 7, securities and other forms as may be required for the contract. Bidders are strongly advised to read each provision, especially the instruction to bidders and general conditions of the contract, whose special constructions are clearly spelled out in the bid data sheet and special conditions of the contract respectively. Bidders are also encouraged to check the bill of quantities so that your bid will be responsive to the requirements set forth in the bidding documents. These documents can be downloaded free of charge from the PhilJEPs and DPWH websites. Interested bidders shall pay the applicable amount for the bidding documents not later than the submission of your bids. That's all, Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Lord, for discussing these documents. Next in the order of business is the documents to be submitted by the bidder and other reminders in the preparation and submission of the same. And this will be discussed to us by, again, Engineer Lord.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning once
Morning.
again.
Good
Morning.
Once again. The following documents should be included by interested bidders in their bids. Number 1, technical component of the bid, which composes of PhilJEP certificate, if not enrolled in CWA, PCAB license and registration, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, SLCC and FCC, computation and statement of total asset and total liabilities, joint ventures agreement if applicable. If already enrolled in CWR, eligibility documents to be updated, if any, bid security, project requirements, organizational chart for the contract, list of contractors' key personnel, list of major equipment owned or leased, and omnibus sworn statement in prescribed format in accordance to GPPB Resolution 16-2020. For the financial component of the bid form, bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid and cash flow by quarter. Please be reminded that the following documents, omnibus sworn statement, bid form, and bid security declaration, if you opted to this type of bid security, should be in standard format as per guidelines of the GPPB in the resolution number 16-2020. Kindly check the format of the documents you are using to avoid being declared non-responsive pursuant for using unprescribed format. These documents should be submitted using 2-envelope system. Bidders are urged to only fasten the document at the topmost portion instead of hard or soft binding them. Each document should be airtight appropriately. It should be labeled based on the name of the document attached, not the number or letter according to the checklist. There shall be 3 copies of these documents, the original, copy 1, and copy 2. The original copies of technical component of the bid shall be sealed on one envelope, and original copies of the financial component of the bid shall be sealed on another envelope. This envelope should be labeled as original copy of technical component and original copy of financial component. This labeled envelope shall then be sealed into one envelope and label it as original copy of it. The same process of sealing for copies 1 and copies 2. Copy 1 and copy 2. Lastly, original copies 1 and 2 of the bid shall be sealed into one final envelope and label it in appropriately as instructed in the bidding document. Bidders are encouraged to read section 21 of the instruction to bidders, page 40, to fully understand the sealing and marking of bid, in case you did not catch up what I have said. Submit your bids personally here in our office on or before November 24, October 24, 2024 at 10 a.m. Again, submit your bids personally here in our office on or before October 24, 2024 at 10 a.m. Late bids will not be accepted. You also have the option to submit your bids electronically. Preparation of technical and financial documents of your bids are outlined in Department Order Number 87 Series of 2020. Sealing and marking of bids is also outlined on the DEO and is also reiterated on the bid data sheet. Interested bidders are advised to read this in case your choice is electronic submission. Submit electronic bids to electronic bids Davao de Oro 2 at dpwh.gov.ph on or before the same day. Please be reminded that your key personnel should only occupy one position in your organizational chart. Duplication of functions of your personnel will be grounds for disqualification pursuant to the principle of item number 6 under Department Order number 9 Series of 2012. Also, indicate the tax identification number since this will be used in the award of contract. Further, on your bid form and bill of quantities, write legibly. Also, if you are offering a discount in your bid form, please indicate specifically the methodology as to where or which pay item the discount will take effect. Absence of methodology, original amount will prevail. Discrepancies between bid prices in words and figures, the words will prevail. Bids not addressing or providing, filling out all the required items in the bidding documents, the bill of quantities, the bid is considered non-responsive and is outright disqualified. Always check your documents before submitting the same and to avoid disqualification of your firm. Thank you. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you again, Engineer Dorn, for discussing the documents to be submitted by the bidders. To add, especially in accomplishing or filling out the DOQ, if you opt to computerize the preparation of your DOQ, please use the font style Tahoma and font size 11. This is to make your proposal readable or legible. Also, in your detailed estimates or detailed cost estimates, kindly explicitly outline and or indicate the OCM and the contractor's profit as well as the VAT, since this would be essential during contract implementation should there be a need for variation order. We would also like to remind the bidders to submit 3 names through email or prior to the bidding date. However, only one of these 3 names will be able to enter our premises during the bidding activity. So next in the order of business is the explanation of the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, status of ongoing projects and award. And this will be explained by Engineer Apolinario.
Thank you. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The criteria for eligibility check are set forth in Section 23, the revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184. All prospective bidders should have an updated Class A legal, technical, and financial documents and Class B documents if applicable. These documents were already discussed a while ago. During the opening of bids, the first envelope, which contains the technical component of the bid shall be opened. After opening the first envelope, the back shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility check and preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids. Bidders who are ineligible to participate because their eligibility documents are not updated shall undergo manual eligibility check based on the submitted eligibility documents. If found to be eligible and at the same time pass the preliminary examination of their technical proposal, their financial proposal will also be opened. However, the committee will conduct second electronic eligibility check after updating the eligibility records of the bidder through the contractor's profile application or through procurement service of securities. Result of the latest electronic eligibility processing shall prevail over the manual eligibility evaluation. All open financial components of the bid shall also undergo preliminary examination. If passed, the committee will read the bid amount stated in the bid form. The back shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria in considering the first, completeness of the bid, and second, arithmetical corrections. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications to identify the lowest calculated bid. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents pursuant to Section 34 of the Procurement Law. If found to be responsive, the bidder will be declared lowest single calculated and responsive bid and will be recommended for award of the contract. If found to be non-responsive, the committee will conduct post-qualification to the next lowest calculated bid ranked during bid evaluation stage. Also, bidders with ongoing contracts should be reminded that the committee will verify if you have existing delayed contract per Department Order number 127 series of 2018 strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. If you have incurred negative slippage as defined in the said DEO or currently being imposed with liquidated damages, you should settle these findings before the period of post-qualification ends to avoid post-qualification of your firm. Also, all requirements set forth in the bidding documents and the instructions relayed during this conference should be addressed and be well taken care of to avoid disqualification or post-disqualification. And for the equipment verification, the BAC with assistance of the equipment verification team will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post-qualification as per DEO number 127 series of 2018. And as part of the post-qualification, The equipment verification team will conduct an inspection, the verification of the equipment pledged by the bidder, including other documents to be evaluated. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that discussion, Engineer Apolinaria. We are now through with Agenda 1 and its subsections. So we will proceed to Agenda 2. Questions, comments from leaders, and replies of BAC and other representative of the following entity. So any questions from the viewers?
So far, Madam Chair.
So far. So there is none. We will proceed to other matters. The three-strike policy against violation of Section 69.1.I of the IRR of RA 9184 to be discussed by Engineer Ernesto Pera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
In order to establish a fair and transparent system for managing offenses committed by bidders in the procurement of infrastructure, goods, and consulting services projects through public bidding, the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, hereby introduces an updated three-strike policy. This policy is aimed at enforcing adherence to the procurement guidelines stipulated under Section 69.1.I of the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations IRR of Republic Act RA 9184. Under this policy, if a bidder commits strict offenses, acts described as all other acts that tend to defeat the purpose of competitive bidding, they shall be subjected to an administrative penalty. These offenses acts are further classified in three major categories as enumerated below of as per DEO 28 series of 2024. Classification of offenses that triggers the three-strike policy and exceptions. First, withdrawal from bidding processes, submission of a non-participation letter, or failure to submit a bidding after purchasing the bid documents. However, the Bids and Awards Committee BAC recognizes certain valid reasons for these actions. If upon computation prior to bid submission, the bidder determines that their proposed bid price will exceed the approved budget for the contract ABC. To substantiate this, the bidder must provide evidence. Acceptable proof includes but is not limited to a detailed budget estimation or a market price report. Number 2, submission of late bids without valid reasons as determined by the BAC. Exceptions will be considered under extraordinary circumstances such as force majeure. This refers to unexpected and avoidable external events that impede or prevent a bidder from timely bid submission as defined in Article 1174 of the Philippine Civil Code. Number 3, submission of patently insufficient bid. A patently insufficient bid refers to a bid that fails to include or comply with certain mandatory requirements. The determination of whether a bidder committed such an offense may occur as outlined. First, letter A, during eligibility screening and or shortlisting. First, submission of an expired certificate of Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System, PhilJEPS, registration, platinum membership, or a certificate of PhilJEPS certification containing expired Class A legal and financial documents as determined during the eligibility screening. Number 2, failure to include certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm, and curriculum vitae in the application for eligibility. B. During bid evaluation. First, failure to submit required bid forms as outlined in Annex C, detailing the complete list of required bid forms. Number 2, submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to the non-inclusion and or omission of mandatory provision and statements for the required bid forms as per Annex C, outlining the mandatory provisions of required forms. Number 3, submission of an unauthorized bid securing declaration, unauthorized bid securing declaration or an omnibus sworn statement and joint venture agreement or statements from all the potential joint venture partners with the exception during the declaration of state of calamity or implementation of community quarantine or similar restrictions declared or being implemented either in the locality of the procuring entity or of the bidder. Number 4, submission of the bid form, price schedules, bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement, and joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative. Number 5, nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents. Number 6, failure to submit proof of ownership, lease or purchase agreement of pledged equipment. Number 7, failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. Number 8, failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment as stated in the bidding documents. Letter C, during post-qualification, participation in bidding for infrastructure projects by a bidder whose allowable range of contract cost ARCC as indicated on the pickup license does not match with the specific requirements of the infrastructure project being bid for in terms of category, classifications, and size ranges. Roman numeral number 3, enforcement and penalties. If a bidder commits any of the 3 major offenses acts listed above 3 times within a year starting from the approval date of the resolution recommending the imposition of strike 1, first warning, which is counted as day 1 through day 365, and if these 3 offenses are of a similar or identical nature, it will trigger the enforcement of the stipulated administrative penalty, suspension from participating in all DPWH procurement activities and entering into contract with any DPWH procuring entity. Subsequently, as per the procedure outlined in Annex A, this may result in the blacklisting of the suspended bidder, thereby disqualifying the bidder from participating in any government procurement activities for a period of 1 year. In conjunction with blacklisting, the bidder will also face bid security for forfeiture and must comply with the enforcement of the bid securing declarations condition. In more severe instances, when a bidder commits another set of 3 similar offenses and more than 2 set of 3 similar instances where more than 6 similar offenses occur within the said 1 year time frame, the bidder may be subjected to an increased penalty resulting in blacklisting for a period of 2 years. The effective duration for the penalty of either 1 or 2 years applicable will be clearly stipulated in the blacklisting order, with the provision that the duration of blacklisting shall not exceed a minimum period of 2 years, commencing on the date of blacklisting order is approved and issued by the Secretary. That's all, Mr. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Tero. So, to all prospective bidders, please be careful, read all instructions and comply so that you will not commit any offenses that will constitute a street strike. Now we will proceed to the last agenda, the summary proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued, which will be presented by Engineer Jacob.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All the needed information were discussed and explained by the resource person. I would like to remind the prospective bidders to visit from time to time the DPWH and PNGIP's website, especially with 7 calendar days prior to the deadline of the submission of bids. For supplemental or bid bulletin to be issued thereat. Please also be reminded that the submission of bids on or before October 24, 2024, 10 a.m. Bids shall not be accepted. Bid opening will be on October 24, 2024, 10 a.m. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Jacob. All of the business in the agenda were already taken into consideration. May I know the pleasure of the body?
I move to adjourn this pre-bid conference for civil works.
I second the motion.
So it has been moved by Engineer Jacob and seconded by Engineer Tero. And with no objection, the motion to adjourn this conference is hereby approved. This conference is now adjourned. Thank you for everyone for coming.